Hey guys, Mattox here. I'm excited to talk to you about the new things that are in the second edition and kind of what you can expect around them. So first off, we're going to talk about component changes. Obvious thing here, the box is a little bit bigger. So we didn't want to lose out on the portability of the first edition, but we also wanted to provide more room for some new cards that are coming into the game and possibly expansions, hopefully, along with the new board, which we'll get to in a second. But this increase in box size is not too big. It's the same as our caper box here. So it's still very portable, can get it around pretty easily, but it's a little bit bigger. So talking about that board, one of the biggest feedback pieces in our first edition of Campy Creatures was, hey, we love the clashometer, we love breaking ties and whatnot, but scoring around it can be a little bit fiddly because of all the tiny bits that are moving around there, and you're also moving your hand around the clashometer and you don't want to hit pieces or whatnot. So one, we wanted to provide more room on the board. So we've done that through providing a bigger board, which has locations on it now, and also the clashometer can, it's shrunken in size, but that's never been a problem of moving these clash pieces around. So one of the other things that I mentioned there was these pieces on the board. We had creeples, we love the creeples, but we felt like these icon tokens here that match the player backs of cards were going to be more helpful to players. So as you look at a player, you see the back of their cards, you can easily relate it to which icon they are here versus not really sure creeple-wise which one they might be, if especially dealing with color blindness, this helps people see that. And then lastly, these are tokens, so as they move around the board, they're not going to take up too much vertical space when you're moving your hand, maybe switching out locations or switching around the clashometer. You're not going to hit them and knock them over, and just in general, there's more space for them to go and actually stack on each other if you're on the same score. So that was one of the reasons we wanted to move component-wise to those. So now we're going to talk about mechanics. So we've built out a new mortal deck system. It has the similar mortals in it, but there's a new system in place with these icons, as you can see here. So engineers have these goggles. The archaeologist is this base mortal set, so it's that cream color. The base mortals are going to be in every game. And then depending on the player count, you're going to choose a number of sets. And then you're going to shuffle in different mortal types. So you're going to choose like, hey, we're playing with teenagers. That's that little Converse shoe down there. We're going to shuffle in 5 of these. And they're random, so you're not sure if you're going to have a lot of 3 teenagers or even 1 teenager cards in there. So it's going to change up and create a different deck each game. Next, one of the biggest pieces of feedback was rounds. So people wanted more different rounds and there to feel like there was like this big arc to the game versus like each round kind of happening individually and then whoever scored the most at the end wins. So one of the ways we're doing that is with the assistant cards. They're a brand new mortal type and they're going to score after each round, and you get to keep them after each round. So that's like a new thing here. And they're going to build up and be more powerful the further you go in the game. If you can get that 5 of them, that's crazy. 15 points. That's unheard of. I'm just kidding. But for real, these assistants, a number of them are going to be shuffled in at the beginning of a round. So it's either going to be 2 or 3, depending on player count. Shuffle them right in. Boom, they come out that round. Whoever's getting those is getting to keep those, and they're building upon each other for this explosive point scoring at the end. They're crazy assistants. Yeah. Next is locations. This is the other way we're changing up rounds. So one of these is going to come out each round, and at the end of the round, someone is going to conquer it. They're going to get to do its ability. So in some cases, you might score extra points, score extra teenagers. You might get to rise to the top of the clashometer and gain 2 points. There's just a bunch of different options that are going to change up how you want to go for gameplay, because winning these is all about collecting the most location icons. So mortals, again, they're pretty similar, but now they have these location icons on them. Some have none, some have 1, some have 2. And now maybe the same mortal is out, 2 archaeologists, but one has none and one has 2. There's now a different weight to choosing what creature you want to play, because you might be really wanting to go for a location that's going to work well with the strategy you're doing. So this is one of the main ways that's going to change up each round, and there's a new location out every round. So let's get to explaining the conversion kit, what that means, and expansion and all that good stuff. So expansion, if you get it, you're going to get it for 13 bucks, and we're going to give you the conversion kit. And that's going to include this whole new mortal deck that we just talked about and 6 new locations that are included in that second edition, along with everything in the expansion, which is more monsters, more mortals, and more locations. So you get all that for 13 bucks. We did have backers ask, though, for a fully basically component-wise conversion edition. So that is called the conversion edition. The other one is called the conversion kit. The conversion edition includes the new box, the new board, the new tokens, everything we just talked about. Basically, you get the whole game except for the creatures, which you can take from your first edition and put into this conversion edition, along with expansion 1. And one thing I should note here is if we can get to 100,000 on Kickstarter is one of our goals. All these things, eye tokens and Creeple, sorry, not Creeple, but these Clash markers here are gonna turn into wood and be printed on. So that would be a super sweet goal to hit. But basically this is the conversion edition. We have backers wanting more of these component things. So you're able to play the whole game with this conversion kit, of course, but you have all the gameplay and whatnot, but with this conversion edition, it gives you all those extra components that we just talked about. Lastly, just to answer some quick questions, on the page, we have this picture of the box here, and that's gonna be a little poster card on top of the game to help people know, hey, this is the conversion edition, but once you open it up and take the cello wrap off, you can take that poster card off and it'll be just the same as the second edition game. So that is all the details on these different creatures, mechanics, locations, mortals, and how they're working. We're going to be doing some playthroughs on Tabletop Simulator and all that good stuff that we can't wait to show you. But if you have any questions, we'd love to answer them. And thanks so much for checking it all out. I'll see you guys later.